First home buyers are being blamed for a shortage of rental properties in Whanganui, which has left some of the city's most vulnerable residents scrambling to put a roof over their heads. Emergency and social housing are chock-a-block, and people have resorted to sleeping in cars, while landlords are being picky about the tenants and ramping up rents in the city. Our Taranaki Whanganui reporter Robin Martin has this report.
Single parent Lauren Darby had no idea of the struggle that awaited her when the property she rented was sold late last year. The mum of two says she's been invited to a solitary viewing over the entire 4 months she's been house hunting.
There's not much out there. Each week, I think Pikahoia that I work with at Salvation Army, she averaged around 30 houses or so. But when it comes to like single mothers or on a benefit, or you kind of get looked sideways, and yeah, down to the bottom of the list more.
Ms Darby, who says she's never had an issue with a landlord, is now living in Salvation Army emergency housing. She says the reaction to an ad that she replied to at the weekend is typical of what she's experienced.
And she asked my situation, so I explained it to her. Obviously, single mum, 2 kids on a benefit, in emergency housing, and straight away she turned around and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll have to stop you there. The ad says professional or couples." So that was it. End of conversation.
Ms Darby is not alone. Tracy Anderson, also a single parent, has just moved into a home after a similar experience.
Last November, my house sold that I was renting for 3 years. I applied for 150 plus houses, just got rejected, got declined, keep searching, keep going, and then finally I managed to score one. Got a roof over my head now, so it's good. Been here just a week.
Ms Anderson, who has had issues resolved by the Tenancy Tribunal, says things hit rock bottom when she had to bundle 9-year-old Reese and 6-year-old Isabel into her car.
It's been tough. I stayed with my mum for a few months, and then with a friend, to the point that at one stage I went into my car for a bit. It's just so hard.
Were you in the car with the children?
Yes.
How did you feel about being in that situation?
Not very nice. I feel like I failed my children.
The Whanganui branch of the property brokers got Miss Anderson into a home. Its manager, Philip Kubiank, says mum and dad investors are selling off rentals which are being picked up by first home buyers.
What we're seeing in the rental market is just a severe shortage of available rental properties, especially 3-4 bedrooms, and a heavy demand from prospective tenants. So a lot of tenants wanting properties and not enough rental properties available for them.
The median house price in Whanganui has risen more than 24% over the last 2 years to about $240,000 as people move to the city to get a foot on the property ladder. Rents are also up about $50 a week over the past 12 months. Glenn Anderson of the Salvation Army says the situation is dire and many landlords are taking advantage of the market and falling back on old stereotypes. Mr Anderson says people jumping on the Whanganui bandwagon are also getting caught out.
And some of that population that's thinking Whanganui is the answer to their dreams and their hopes are just turning up in the city with no plan, no prospects of work, haven't thought about housing at all. And so we've had people living in cars on the beach before they've connected with an agency.
And if you've ever wondered what it's like to bunk up in a car, take it from 9-year-old Reese. It isn't pleasant. What was it like having to stay in the car?
It was a bit noisy because sometimes the people would drive past really fast, and I tried getting to sleep. Sometimes my sister would roll onto me, and it was really hard.
Were you ever frightened when you were staying in the car?
A little bit.
The Ministry of Social Development is currently dealing with 64 applications on its Whanganui housing register. The Salvation Army has 8 emergency houses in Whanganui, all of which are full. Housing New Zealand has 560 properties in the city, all but 9 are occupied, and it is building 7 more. The District Council has 275 pensioner flats, 16 of which are being prepared to be let. I Whanganui, mo te hōtaka o te ahiahi, ko Robin Martin Aho.